Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be going over a Nightblade tank for Murkmire. Been having a lot of fun with this build. I've tanked Vet AA, had no problems, had some amazing healers though, but I didn't have any issues throughout the trial. I've done just about every vet trial with this build except for, or not vet trial, but vet dungeon, except for March of Sacrifice and Moonhunter Keep. Now, these were all pug runs, and I don't know what happened in those two. The pugs that I was getting just were not very good, but it is what it is. Um, but the other dungeons, I had no issues running through and completing. Um, Trials, I've tanked all the normal trials on this one. Didn't really no problem at all. They were normal, but I had no issues with them. Um, anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the stats. The stats, I have 20.5k max magicka. I have 33.5k max health. 21.2k max stamina. My magic cover is 917 and stamina recovery is 791. My spell resistance is 22.9k unbuffed, and my physical resistance is 22.3k unbuffed. I have 38 points into magicka, 26 into health. I'm running tri-set food, and I'm using the Atro for more magic recovery. Now, buffed, can't go fully buffed, but buffed is 28.1 and physical resistance is 27.6. Now with the Bloodspawn proc, we're going to gain an additional 6k. So we're going to be spell resistance, we're going to be overcap, and physical resistance, we're going to be knocking on the door cap. So it definitely works out really well. I am an Imperial, so if you're not an Imperial, you might want to try to finesse some of your stats, or if you're like an Argonian or something like that, you might want to look into tri-set glyphs. I'm not using them because my stats are already really solid. So I have a good chunk of max magic. I have a good chunk of stamina. So and my health is 33.5 is really good. Um, so I don't have much of an issue. But if you're not Imperial, because I get like 12% max health and 10% max stamina from my racial passives, you might want to look into Hack Joe's, so that way you can spread it around a little more and have better stats. Um, Champion points. I have 24 into Warlord, 9 into Sprinter, and 33 into Bashing Focus. Now, you want to stay as close as you can to a whole number. Anything after the decimal is pretty much waste, so this is more like 10%. But I have like 2 points that are just kind of weird with the way that I have everything set up, so I just threw them somewhere. So if you're not max CP, you may just want to kind of finesse until you can get it where you like, but try to stay as close to a whole number as you can. 64 into Tenacity, 27 into Arcanist, and 37 into Mooncalf. 56 into Shadow Ward, and 20 into Tumbling. 37 Blessed, 39 Physical Weapon Expert, and 40 Master at Arms. 37 Marmich, 61 Precise Strike, and 56 Mighty. Now for the most part, the healing that you're going to do is mostly Blessed. So you can definitely pull stuff out of here and increase Blessed if you like. So that one's entirely up to you. 28 into Ironclad, 32 into Spell Shield, 64 Hardy, 64 Elemental Defender, 37 Quick Recovery, 25 Heavy Armor Focus, and 20 into Bastion. Now, I gotta say this because I haven't made a video since, but I uploaded a video where I was going over CP points, and I don't know why I didn't catch it, but I just didn't. I overlooked it. The character was wearing light armor, but when I put CP points into her to increase her physical resistance, I put it into medium armor focus, so she's not getting any resistance, physical resistance, from that. I was wondering why she was a little squishy, but I had some amazing healers and some great tanks, so I didn't really have an issue at staying alive. But I just want to point that out. I made the mistake, but just learn from my mistake and pay attention, because 3K gold can go a long way in some situations. Uh, when you're redoing characters and you're resetting skill points, you're resetting attributes to make sure you have everything right. Sometimes 3K seems like a lot, especially when you have a bunch of characters. So just make sure you're paying attention when you do that, so you don't. But it's my fault. So, anyways, sets. First 5-piece set we are running is War Machine. We're running an infused sword and an infused mace. Now you can run any one-handed that you want on it. I just have a mace and a sword infused. We're running 2 Crusher enchants, If you want to put on the back bar, you can run a weakening enchant, you can run a absorb for more resource management, or you can run like a shield where you get a shield every 5 seconds. That's up to you. Now, we have two shields, both infused, both with max stamina glyphs on them. Now, what War Machine does is that this comes from Halls of Fabrication, and it gives us max stamina, gives us Minor Slayer at all times, increasing your damage done to dungeon, trial, and arena monsters by 5%, gives us weapon damage, and when you use an ultimate ability, you and the closest two allies within 20 meters of you gain Major Slayer for 10 seconds, increasing your damage done to dungeon, trial, and arena monsters by 15%. As a Nightblade, we have a very cheap ult, and we get this back extremely quick. So, we can keep this up. As from what I've experienced, the downtime is usually a second to 2 seconds. There is occasionally where it does go to like 13 seconds, but that's only, I can count all the times that that's happened on my end. But for the most part, we're usually proccing it, we're usually sounding it off again right as it hits, and due to the skill setups that we have with the trials, if you're the healer that you're running, if they're on a Warhorn, you can go in, cast Warhorn, you can cast the first Warhorn, and then you can continue to use your cheap roll, because if you're in a trial, the off tank, you have your off tank, you have your two healers, and then you have you. So there should be that rotation of Warhorn, and between the three, they can keep it up. So you get first Warhorn, and then they rotate through it. Tends to work out really well and allows us to keep this up, because I've been running this a lot more because of the fact that I've seen that most of the stamina characters, they're the ones that are usually going to get it near you. You know, they're running AY and they're running Reliquins. So they're not running War Machine, they're not running, or the magic characters like Mag DK and things like that. Um, they don't run Master Architect for the most part. So, but most of the magic characters are going to be in Sororia, Spell Strategist, Burning Spell Weave, Scathing Mage, whatever it may be. But their main set is going to be Sororia. So, so you're not really going to have Major Slayer going throughout the group. So at least this way you can continue to provide Major Slayer to the closest characters. So, this is definitely nice to have. Our monster set that we're running is Bloodspawn. We're running a heavy head infused, a heavy shoulder sturdy, both with max health. Now, what this does, it gives a stam recovery, and when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 14 ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by 6.2k for 6 seconds. Effect can occur once every 6 seconds. This is going to give us more ultimate quickly. So, this helps with that. So, this is a 7 setup where we're just running 7 heavy due to the passives within a Nightblade skill line. If you want to, you could definitely run the 511. That's entirely up to you. You'll have your stats be higher all across the board, but that's up to you. I haven't had any issues out of this. My stats look nice as it is. But if you want more stats, definitely a 511 setup will do that. You'll just have to cast one ability a little more than what you normally would have. Alright, the second 5-piece set we're running is Automated Defense. This comes from Halls of Fabrication as well. We're running a heavy, well, not a heavy, the whole armor set is heavy, but we're running a chest infused, legs infused, we're running sturdy boots, sturdy hands, and sturdy waist, all with max health. So all our armor pieces have max health, and our two shields have max stamina on them. So what Automated Defense does, it gives us max health, gives us minor Aegis at all times, reducing the damage we are going to take from Dungeon Trial and Arena monsters by 5%. Gives us 4% healing taken, and when you use an ultimate ability, you and the closest two allies within 28 meters of you gain Major Aegis for 10 seconds, reducing the damage that they will take from Dungeon Trial and Arena monsters by 15%. So, for stam characters that are right there up on the ball showing 4-man content, you're going to boost their damage, and they're going to take less damage. So in some of those major situations, this could save them. I've had some stamina characters literally get out with 2% of their health left, what they were telling me. Some of them, they literally survived with about 3k health. So, this definitely has saved a lot of people. Now, jewelry that we're running just War Machine jewelry, all robust, all with shield play enchants. I did play around with reduced potion cost, because in Nightblade's passives, when we pop an ultimate, we get 20 ultimate back. But it really wasn't needed. But if you want to try to pop the Warhorn pretty consistently, if that's the ultimate you want to use, then you can go with the potion cooldown on one of these and go shield play enchants on the other two. Turn one of these infused, But in that situation, automated defense and war machine is going to have a 20-second downtime. So that's entirely up to you on what you're going to do with that, if you want to do that. So if you Master Architect works really good here as well. You know, the only difference between the two sets is Master Architect gives you Magicka on the 2-piece, and the 4-piece gives you spell damage instead of weapon damage. That's the only difference between the sets, and all of them come out of Halls of Fabrication. So one trial, you can run it, and you can get everything you need. So skills: Pierce Armor. We're gonna taunt the enemy for 15 seconds to attack us. We're gonna deal 42 physical damage. That's interesting. Also afflicts the enemy with Major Fracture and Major Breach, reducing their physical resistance and spell resistance by 5.2k for 12 seconds. This is our taunt. You do want to taunt them before the 15 seconds. As you can see, it's going to taunt them for 15, but they're only going to get Major Fracture, Major Breach for 12 seconds. So there's that 3-second window when this falls off that you want to taunt. It's basically, you know, it's going to force you to taunt before that to keep that up. So Heroic Slash. Slash an enemy, dealing 4.6k physical damage and reducing their movement speed by 60% for 4 seconds. Also afflicts the enemy with Minor Maim, reducing their damage done by 15% for 12 seconds. You gain Minor Heroism, granting you one ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. This is why we're running this most. You know, I like the Minor Maim is really nice because we don't have anything actually supplying that, so that helps out a lot. And then of course, the Minor Heroism giving us more ultimate over the course of 9 seconds. So definitely works out really nice. So essentially, we're going to get back 6 ultimate in that 9 seconds. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it does come into play. Everything that we're getting ultimate from, it builds up. So then we're running Funnel Health. Steal an enemy's life force, dealing 1.9k magic damage and healing you and one other nearby ally for 56% of the damage inflicted every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. Now, originally, I had Absorb Magic here. You know, just reduce that damage. But I found out, as I was playing around, it really didn't make a huge difference whether I had this here or not. I wasn't having much of an issue. I'm guessing it's because of automated defense. Me personally, I don't know why it wasn't making a huge difference. But that 8% with sturdy and all that, block cost wasn't that bad at all. So I did trade it out. I traded out during Vet AA at the final boss, but just to reduce, it was more so not because I was having trouble with it, but it was more for the reduced cost by that 8%. You know, taking the maxes, this definitely helped out a lot. So, Bone Shield. Surround yourself with a whirlwind of bones, gaining a damage shield that absorbs 32% of your max health for 5.7 seconds. An ally near you can activate the Bone Wall synergy, granting the ally and up to 3 other friendly targets near them a damage shield that absorbs 54% of their max health for 6 seconds. Again, this is helpful because it mitigates some damage, and then on top of that, it allows the stamina characters around you to pop this, and they get a shield, being able to take a little bit of extra damage, and it can save them in some situations. So, Dark Cloak. Cloak yourself in a shadow to heal for 32% of your max health over 3.5 seconds, and gain minor protection, reducing your damage taken by 8%. So, this is basically a Dragon Knight's Green Blood. Works wonderfully. So, then we're running, our ultimate on the front bar is Soul Harvest. This is the one we're going to spam after the first initiation of a Warhorn. We're going to use Soul Harvest. It's a 70 ultimate. We're going to deal some damage and increase your damage against them by 20% for 6 seconds. Not really why we're using it. We're going to inflict them with Major Defile, reducing their healing received and health recovered by 30%. But the reason why we have it here is for the third one. While slotted, anytime you kill an enemy, you gain 9 ultimate. It's not necessarily you. I know it says anytime you kill an enemy, but anytime in the group an enemy dies, you're going to get 9 ultimate. So, it seems like if you can go in, you cast Warren, you cast Soul Harvest, in between bosses, by the time the trash mob is done, by the time with everything that adds up with the trash, you have another Warhorn going into the boss fight. So, you just keep it going. So you'll cast Warhorn, and then you'll cast Soul Harvest in the middle of it, and you're usually good. Now, when it comes to gaining our ultimate, as you can see, we don't use much out of here. Siphoning is where a lot of this stuff comes into play. After drinking a potion, you gain 20 ultimate. That right there alone, that leaves us with 50 ultimate to get obtained. And from minor heroism, from the heavy attacks, from the just things in general, we tend to have our 70 ultimate back extremely quick. So increase your max magic about 8% while siphoning ability slotted. That's one of the reasons why I decided to put funnel health here on the front bar. because it kept my magicka at a consistent level as well. So that was also one of the reasons why I decided to keep it on the front bar over absorb magicka as well. Increase your healing done by 3% for each siphoning ability slot. Casting a siphon ability generates 2 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds. Now, outside of Tap Essence, Drain Power, whatever you would use here, and Cripple, I mean, this one's okay. You sacrifice your health to heal an ally, but we're a tank. We're not really going to focus on healing. This is the only spammable we have, so we want to spam this. So that's the reason why we're also running this. So every time we use it, every 4 seconds, we're going to get 2 ultimate. So it helps here. So we're essentially going to get 4 ultimate out of it within the 10 seconds that it's down. So, and then of course, if it's taking 10 seconds for whatever reason, we're going to get 6. So, now, our back bar. We're running Inner Rage. It is the magic morph. Ignite the fires of hate in an enemy's heart, dealing 2k magic damage and taunting them to attack you for 15 seconds. A ranged ally targeting the taunted enemy has a 36% chance to activate the Radiant Synergy, dealing 1.6k magic damage to them over 2 seconds, then an additional 4.8k magic damage to them and other nearby enemies. This is a taunt, your magic taunt. You know, we have stamina taunt, we have magic taunt. Silver Leech. Fire Dongar's crossbow. Hook to pull an enemy to you, dealing 3.9k physical damage and reducing their movement speed by 40% for 4 seconds. This is essentially going. This is our chain. We're going to pull them in. We can taunt. So we can taunt them and then pull them in. And this is where I kind of wasn't paying attention and burnt myself out of my resources. I was just kind of taunting and pulling, and next thing I know, I'm in a magicka and stamina. So it was more on me not managing my resource. That was all my fault. So, time freeze. Freeze the passage of time at dark location, gradually reducing the move speed of enemies in the area over 4 seconds for finally stunning them in place for 3 seconds when the duration completes. I love this. You can essentially throw it down and then just start pulling enemies in. They'll go off and they'll just freeze. It's nice. It's a huge area of effect too. As you can see that. Comes in and just that thing is massive. So refreshing path. Create a corridor of shadows, granting you and your allies in the area major expedition, increasing movement speed by 30%. Effect persists for 2 seconds after leaving the path. Heals 760 health to you and allies in the area every 1 second. This is just a nice little heal to have as well. Plus, it's allows us to have this on our front bar. Increase your health, stamina, and magic recovery by 15%. Casting a shadow ability grants you major resolve and major ward for 6 seconds. Increase your physical and spell resistance by 5.2k. This duration is increased by 25% for each piece of heavy armor equipped. So this is the reason why we're running a 7 heavy. We basically have the major, the physical and spell the major ward and major resolve for 16.5 seconds. It's nice, but you can definitely do the 511 and it will drop it. I think it drops it to around 11 seconds or something like 10 to 11 seconds, somewhere around in there. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's not bad. You know, the cast time on that isn't, is 11.5 seconds. So it's about the time it would drop. It's about the time that would go up. So you would just have to keep it going. So Dark Vig increase your max health by 3% for each shadow ability slot. So we have a shadow ability on our front bar and we have a shadow ability on our back bar, giving us that extra 3% health. And then this increases the duration of your shadow abilities. Not much to really worry about. Master Assassin, saying how we really don't use Soul Harvest. Don't really need that. When an enemy dies within 2 seconds of being damaged by one of your assassination abilities, you restore magicka and stamina, whichever is higher. Increase your weapon. Don't really need that. Increase your critical damage by 10%. Not really need it. So you really don't need the passes out of here on the tank, but it's worth having all the same. So, but okay. So siphoning attack. Imbue your weapon with soul stealing power, causing your light and heavy attacks to heal you for 1.6k health, and restore 106 magicka for 20 seconds. Fully charged heavy attack restores twice the value. You restore up to 4.2k additional magicka when the effect ends based on length of time siphoning attack was active. That's the reason why my magic recovery is where it is. It's the reason why I'm not running magic recovery glyphs on my jewelry, because this helps out a lot. Now, if you're having trouble maintaining your stamina, you can always go leeching strikes. It's basically going to do the same thing, except instead of healing you, it's going to restore stamina with the light attacks, and then when the effect ends, it's going to give you stamina. But I used it there for a little bit. I wasn't really having much of an issue, but I was having issues with my magic. So I switched it over to siphoning attacks, and now between shards, orbs, and things like that, I don't have an issue maintaining my stamina. Plus, with the tri-stat potions, I don't really have an issue maintaining any of my resources. So it just works out really nice. But it is entirely up to you on what you run and what you feel comfortable with. This is just where I feel comfortable with it and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Aggressive Horn. Sound a warhorn to rally your forces, increasing you and your allies' max magicka and max damage by 10% for 30 seconds. You and your allies get major force, increasing your critical damage done by 15% for 8.5 seconds. So this is just a nice little buff to have. You cast it when you first go in, and that's essentially it. So then after you cast this the first time, you'll start using the Soul Harvest as it goes around. Now, if you want to generate ultimate even quicker, you can, you can go Vampire and you can get your Drain. That restores ultimate as well when you hit somebody with it. So you could probably, I would probably replace Bone Shield with that. Um, or if you don't really if you don't really care about the time freeze, you can replace time freeze with it. It's entirely up to you. So, but that will help you with your ultimate even quicker. So, see, skills, everything else. I haven't had much of an issue. I guess I'll give a quick example on the regen. So we'll go ahead and pop this. Heavy attack. I don't know why I did that. And there it is. So I wouldn't count. So it wasn't. It was quite a bit. I think it was around 12, 13 seconds. Um, it's still going up, as you said. It went up to 98. So by the time Warhorn would end, you would probably be able to have another Warhorn completely. But I like it. So 14 seconds. That took 14 seconds. So now imagine when you're in a dungeon, you're going to have your passives from your Fighters Guild as well. Go down here. You're going to generate 9 ultimate when you kill an undead Daedra or werewolf. So that's going to go up as well. Plus you'll have Soul Harvest here in itself. When things are dying, you're getting 9 ultimate. So you could definitely, that took 14 seconds to get on my own on a dummy. So you can definitely, you can get it back within the 10 seconds as well. So, but yeah, that is the Nightblade tank that I've been rolling around with. I hope you all enjoy it. And I've been trying to slow down my talking. I hope I did a pretty good job at that. If not, just let me know. Anyways, well, when it comes to food, your Essence of Health, your Tri-Step pots, and or you can just use your basic crown tripods. Essence of Health, of course, is better, but it's up to you. You can get away with this if you want to. So, but yeah, that is the video. I hope y'all have fun, and see y'all next time.